Hello, hello. Happy. What's today? That doesn't look like that when I first turn it on. Let me try something. Double chin there. All right. I like that a little bit better. Okay, so my thoughts for today. I'm going to tell you. Yeah, what the WTF? That's supposed to be a question mark. What the fuck? Mm, mm, mm. Life is an interesting thing. I just read something from uh, Abraham Hicks. Uh, I'm going to post it because it's a little bit long, but it rings true. Something else the other day that one of the quotes that I get from emailed from Abraham Hicks: leverage your time more by spending a little more time every day imagining and a lot less time every day doing. A little more time imagining, a lot less time doing. Uh, just for the record, that hits deep with me because listening to the law of attraction, I used to think, well, I can create it without doing it, but that's life. When you hear the word life, what does that mean? Life is uh, something that's growing, being, doing, right? Life, it's alive. So action is required. Just being alive is action, right? So for those of you that maybe aren't taking action, that's probably what's missing. Some of the things that keep rolling around in my head, though, is there's a couple of situations I'm dealing with, and it's just very interesting to me. Because the other quote that I got, or the email that I got. Esther talks about how she's worrying about things in the world, and to not worry about it, and because she's trying to figure out, what's going on, why it's going on, how she can help. And a lot of times that's where my initial thought is because I'm a problem solver and that's initially what I want to do. So I've had to learn over the years, there's times where you don't have to solve every problem. That's not your responsibility. It's not my responsibility. So it's a fine line for me. It's a balance. And again, I haven't pointed it out in a way. The yin to the yang, the balance of when someone wants help and when they don't. When they're just talking or they're set in their ways and they're just going to do what they want to do, and that's fine. There is no right or wrong when it comes to that. You have your way. And I always go back to the basic fundamentals of what are your results personally. If you're getting the results you're wanting, then that means you're doing the things you need to do. If you're not, and that's what gets me, is when people ask for help and assistance and guidance and uh, or they ask why, whether it pertains to you or something else, and you tell them, they want to argue it. And it's like, I don't, very rarely do I feel 100% confident about a certain answer because you just never know, right? I mean, unless, that's why I like numbers because 2 plus 2 is 4. Unless you're hypnotized to believe that 2 plus 2 is 5, then in your mind, 2 plus 2 is 5. So I've learned to back away. When I see that resistance, I back away. I'm like, okay, you have your belief. I'm not going to try and convince you. I don't want to argue. I don't want to debate. I don't like drama. Now, if you want to discuss it, if you're willing to open your mind and you want to see it from my perspective and see if that helps you get the results that you want, it's not being right or wrong. It's not doing it my way or this way or that way or the other way. It's getting the results that you want. Now, this pertains to health and money, but I go into more detail in those and other. This is more being happy, when you're happy with yourself. And I see so many people, they require so much from other people, other things to find their happiness, and they're not finding it within. Uh, See, I didn't know exactly where I was going with this today. You have to take time to be aware, because here's the thing: if if you don't know how you feel or what you want, how can you convey that or communicate that in a way where someone understands it if you don't know? So the first step is to start to understand yourself, and it takes time. You're not going to be able to just sit down in one session and just sit there and write down, who am I, what do I want, because that changes. It's a flowing thing, but you have to keep up with it. You have to be aware. I've learned that uh, also what people say in the heat of the moment a lot of times is what they really mean, because that's the subconscious. Without thinking, that's what comes out. But now, if you can take time and calm down, and then you start thinking and say, okay, this is what I should have said. This was the right thing to say. This is what they want to hear. So that's what you say. So and I always, better safe than sorry. Trust but verify. So I give it time. I usually have a three rule. If I hear it three times, if I'm in that situation three times, then I know, okay, this is what's really going on. And then you adjust accordingly. I read something the other day about unconditional love. What is that? What is, uh, because love is, what is love? Love, there's different levels of love, right? There's loving your pet, there's loving your parents, there's loving your kids, there's loving a partner, there's loving your friends. And each one of those can carry unconditional love, right? I'm going to love you regardless. But just like the situation I was discussing, when you find out how much somebody wants to know or be involved, you at that point decide how deep that love goes, or how deep your commitment, or how deep that relationship goes, what the boundaries to that relationship is. And you have to do that for your own peace of mind. If you're with, especially if you're with a partner, if you're with your last and forever, this is who you want to be with. Both of you are going to have to be committed to getting to know yourselves on a separate level, and then learning how to convey that and communicate it. Now, you're going to give each other a little more space, a little more leeway, a little more uh, fluctuation, to communicate, and understanding, not getting upset because you've committed to that. Now, other relationships, you take it for what it's worth, and then you move on. Um, it's been a very interesting past month, very learning experience for me this past month, with different dynamics and different relationships that I got going on. So, like I shared in the video the other day, the anchor, you got to have that anchor to go back to know who you are, because you'll be pulled in different ways. When you're experiencing something new, you have new emotions, or some old emotions may come up, some old feelings, that old, if you used to get angry all the time when somebody said something, or you had certain triggers, but you got to have that anchor, and you got to breathe in, say, this is who I am, and do I need to step away from that? Uh, Life is, And I still a little bit in my mind, I'm like, well, some people will get it, some people won't. If you need to hear it, you're getting it. If you don't, then you're not, and you're not going to watch it, and that's fine because not everybody's going to get it. Not everybody's going to agree with me. Just like that's why we have so many different religions. Because if you want to praise Allah, you go over there. If you want to uh, praise Mother Mary, you go over to the Catholic Church behind me. If you want to praise Buddha, you go. It's just that's what's great about life. That's what makes it go round. Um, anyway, this went along. Love you. Bye.